Okay. Nice to see you.
Yeah, and you.
How is everything? How you holding up?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we're very busy, which is a nice problem to have. But yeah, it's kind of managing everything around that. So yeah, but I'm just loving this spring sunshine and
beautiful.
Yeah, so nice. We're very lucky to have a nice garden and get outside and yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I've never spoken to so many people in my entire life.
Yeah, I know, it's funny, isn't it? We do more on Zoom than we ever did.
It's a great thing, really. Yeah, and I just thought it'd be really interesting to talk to as many of our members as we can, family business in general. So I spoke to a lady this morning we'd never met before, but she runs a family business in Nottingham, and I thought if I can just do these nice little interviews, it will help other family businesses see what's going on. Some people are having like you guys are having a really busy time, others already have a really terrible time and sort of hibernated their business. And I just think now more than ever, it's so important to know that you are not alone. There is a whole community out there. And obviously you guys as members know that you're part of our community already, but all those people that are out there that don't have anyone to turn to. And I just think it's really important. So if you're happy to just talk in the round about what's happening, don't have to answer anything that you're not comfortable with at all.
Sure, yeah.
I just think it's really nice for other people to hear how other family businesses are doing at the moment. Lessons learned and maybe something optimistic for the future, or maybe it's that we're having a really tough time. But I think honesty is really important. Are you up for that?
I agree. Yep.
Fabulous. Okay, right. Well, so I'm just recording this. Right. So why don't we kick off? Tell us all about you and your family business.
Okay, so I'm Kate Gibson. I'm fourth generation Gibsons family, and Gibsons, we produce board games and jigsaw puzzles and playing cards. We started back in 1919 with games mainly, but we've evolved over the years. So now probably 2/3 of our business is jigsaw puzzles. And we sell to a broad selection of retailers. So your sort of standard high street, online, garden centres, small independent gift and toy shops, and sort of everything in between. We're a team of, there's 20 of us now, which are mainly sort of office-based staff. So everything from sales and marketing, product development, accounts, but sort of functions such as our warehousing and actual manufacture, we've outsourced those. So the 20 of the team is kind of core office functions. Yeah, so that's us.
And so how did you get involved in the business and how long have you been there?
So I've now done 15 years, which it was never something that I guess you'd say was on the cards from being a child. I was always involved in some way, whether it was kind of helping to pack games in the warehouse or just popping up to trade shows and things. But I kind of wanted to do my own thing, if you like, first. Went to university, did some other jobs. And then I was actually in between jobs. I think I was about 28 at the time, and just happened to be chatting to my dad, and he said, "We've got a vacancy. Do you want to, come along and give it a go?" And I kind of said, "Yeah, why not?" And still, even then, I don't think I ever thought, I'd be here 15 years later.
Yeah.
But once I kind of got ingrained in the family business and got to witness and see what happens and try out all different areas, yeah, I guess it became something that actually by the time I was in, it was always meant to be, but I didn't know that before.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was 4 years ago, 3.5 maybe now, I stepped up as managing director. So my father, Michael, has retired. Yeah, so here I am. Yeah.
Amazing. And what other family members are involved?
So if there are 4 of us in total, so my dad, Michael, he's still chairman, but is pretty much retired. And then my cousin, she's our sales director, Nikki, and my brother-in-law heads up our accounts.
Fantastic. Very exciting. So how old is the business?
100 years last year.
100 years, that's incredible.
Yeah, we're so
it's something to be proud of.
Last year of celebrations, really, really proud. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so talk to us then, coronavirus. So what's happened to Gibsons? How has it affected you? And, what has changed in the business over the last 4 weeks or so?
Yeah, so I guess on a practical level, we're all working from home. So that was one of the difficult early decisions, actually, when to make that call. because there was sort of resistance from the team. Everybody loves being in the office. We're quite a close-knit team. So it felt a big decision to actually say to everybody, you know, sorry guys. And I think we made the call just before actually the official lockdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, we obviously had quite a lot to set up from home. So that was the initial challenge. Some members of our team already worked from home, maybe 1, 2, 3 days a week, but there are quite a number who it was not only on a practical level quite a challenge to set up all the IT, but it was also on a kind of emotional level. They're quite reliant on those around them, and you know, were worried about sort of being isolated at home. So there was all of that to deal with initially, and at the same time, demand for puzzles and games kind of went through the roof, which I guess makes absolute sense, because they're the types of pastimes that, you know, when you're at home and things feel difficult, you've got more time on your hands, you know, you might turn to puzzles and games. So yeah, we have seen a kind of a demand that is equivalent to Christmas time,
Wow.
but without the preparation, without the planning,
Yeah.
or potentially, you know, being with the same resource, with the same members of the team. So,
So you already have a good web presence.
Well, funnily enough, as I think I said at the beginning, our core focus is selling to retail, but towards the end of last year, we did set up sales from our own website, more as a response to consumer demand. So there are some kind of real Gibsons fans who wanted to buy from the brand, and it also gave us a bit of insight into what, you know, because you can put your whole range up, what's selling, what's not. So it was a bit of an experiment, but actually it's obviously proven to be a great tool in these times. So yeah.
Amazing. Okay, and how has the team coped with that sudden surge in demand? Like you say, unlike Christmas, you don't have the time to plan and prepare for it.
Yeah, it's a constant challenge. I mean, we're obviously now week 3, week 4 in, and yeah, it's not letting up. So there's lots of use of you know, communication tools like Zoom, and lots of discussions and sort of pulling together, looking at areas of the team where you've perhaps got more flex, where say something like marketing, that perhaps at the moment we're kind of perhaps pulling back on a few things, events have been cancelled. So some of the marketing team, for example, are a bit freer to help other members of the team. But just having to, constantly keep in touch and work with our partners, because it's also, it's not just what we can do, but it's how much, you know, how many puzzles our supplier can manufacture and get out to us. So working with them to increase capacity and things like that.
Well, firstly, I'm so pleased that your business is managing to survive through this. Not only survive, but actually thrive, and you know, sales are going up, and that's so great to hear. And so many businesses are really struggling. So what about the impact of that? So like you say, your partners, your suppliers, the people that you use, how as an industry, you're doing pretty well together, or is it still quite tough?
Yeah, I think generally us and our partners, we're all very, very grateful. We're aware how lucky we are to be in this position. So whilst it might feel a bit overwhelming at times, we are very fortunate. And so everybody's working, you know, at the kind of top of their game, if you like, to try and make sure that we can do the best we can. So we are fortunate that our partners, even our warehouse, for example, they've at the moment they're up and running, and they've got no issues. They're obviously following all the kind of distancing guidelines, but so far everybody is operating well, so that all helps. But yeah, just sort of working together, I suppose. It's in a funny way, all pulling together. You know, I said that's what they say, isn't it? In a crisis, you all come together.
Yeah.
You know, working efficiently more than we perhaps normally would have. So. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about leadership now. So like you say, you're relatively new to the MD role, you know, 4 or 5 years. You'll never have been tested probably like this before, have you, in that time? Probably in your 15 years, have you seen anything so drastic?
We have challenges. I mean, we had a stock related challenge earlier this year to overcome, and that was actually quite full on for everyone, but no, nothing quite like this.
So how have you felt as a leader? Everyone's looking to you to spearhead everything, to make the decisions, the good ones, the bad ones, the difficult ones. How has that been on you as a person?
Yeah, it definitely weighs heavy at times. I think for me, in terms of Gibsons, it's crisis or not, is all about the people. So it's about working with them and supporting them when the times are good and when times are hard. So I guess that's been my most pressing focus, if you like, but also obviously that causes the most concern. So looking at how to support them in doing their jobs, communicating with them, and obviously you have a team that have different stresses and different demands in all of this. So you might have some people that are perhaps more isolated at home, but you might have others who are coping with children, the demands of homeschooling, and a very, very busy job as well. So it's trying to understand and reach out to everybody. But I feel, very fortunate. They are a fantastic team, and they do support one another and very much kind of follow the values of the company. And you really see that in times like this, how much people are working together and supporting one another.
Do you feel the power of family business has become a real strength in this? Talk about values. I mean, that's everything a family business is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And I think it would, if you don't have, I guess, a strong set of values or a strong culture in your business, then perhaps during times like this, the weaknesses would show. That would really show. And what you don't want, I think, when you're working remotely is for people to break off and potentially be, what do they call that expression, sort of silos, where they're not part of the team, whether it's through their own choice or just the way things work. That I think could have a real negative impact on a team that's working remotely. So we are very fortunate that we, despite the fact that we're not all in the same building, there's very much still a sense that we're working together.
And how are you driving that motivation? Because like you say, there'll be people feeling very isolated, people who like going to work for that company and that camaraderie. How are you motivating people, keeping them inspired, keeping them feeling like...
So we've done a few things. One thing we do every morning, we have a 10:30, we call it sort of team chats, or to steal from the Swedish, I believe they call it a fika. So we just, for 15 minutes, we just go into groups of 4 or 5 of us, and we have a team, Microsoft Teams or Zoom video call, and we do that every day. We've done sort of, we had team drinks at the end of Thursday last week, where we all just, end of the working week, kind of got together on Zoom and had a sort of social, had a fantastic week. Cheers to you. And generally, I think we're having probably more touch points to make up for the fact that we're not all in the same room than we would have. And just making sure that, we recognise those that are going the extra mile. It's the usual things, isn't it? That recognising when people do good things and rewarding them, and lots of thanks, and because it is, genuinely appreciated.
Amazing. Okay, so just a little question, actually. I was speaking to someone yesterday, and they are in sort of landscaping, construction, and they were feeling some pressure from people who are saying, you shouldn't be working, you shouldn't be marketing yourselves, it's in bad taste. And she was thinking, I think we need to do what we need to be doing to keep the economy going, as long as we're following all of the guidelines. So you've obviously got a warehouse going, you're producing games, you're still marketing, still selling. Have you felt any of that pressure, or would you have any advice to people who are actually doing quite well in these times, but are feeling some pressure from the outside world?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with that sentiment, that we certainly are hugely appreciative of the position we're in right now. We don't take it for granted at all, but there is the issue of keeping the economy going. There is the issue of supplying a demand, and I guess we're fortunate that our products, you've got a lot of people out there who are potentially lonely, vulnerable, and puzzles are good for that. They really are. But it's also recognising that, yes, we're trading very well, and sales are up, but we, I guess, have a responsibility to recognise that we can give something back. So we have, over the last couple of weeks, worked quite hard on a programme of giving back, which includes we'll be donating the profits of a particular range to a charity. We've donated puzzles through Age UK. We're working on getting some puzzles out into older people in the community and things like that. I think it's really important. I mean, we have a kind of, corporate social responsibility strategy anyway, and we work with a charity partner, but kind of in addition to that, I think it's important that you just think, right, we're fortunate here, what can we do, and sort of address it that way. Yeah. But I certainly don't think, I don't feel the pressure to not be doing what we're doing. I think it's important that we carry on, and we can hopefully support our retailers to keep going also, because there are many small businesses out there who will be having a really tough time, and when this is all over, thinking about how Gibsons, we can support them a bit more to get back on their feet.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about when this is all over. The day will come eventually. Have you learned anything about your business, about you, your team, that you think this is a great opportunity for us moving forward, coming out of this?
I guess I've learnt, it's reassured me, what we were talking about earlier, that we are, a really, really strong team with that family element, I guess, that, isn't just about family, it's about how it feels to be part of a family business, and that actually when you are tested, you can achieve a huge amount, and when you take your focus away from actually some of the stresses and challenges, actually every day remembering that look, we did this, and look, we achieved this, and look, we had that impact, and you did that, is really, really important. So it's almost the I'm not just in it in a business sense, but even in personal life, stopping, and it's been quite powerful for me to stop and notice so many more of the smaller things around, whether it's just to do with nature or to do with time with my children or that kind of thing. But I suppose on a slightly bigger level, some of the strategies which we've got going at the moment for Gibsons around, for example, sustainability, and our giving back, and sort of developing our own team, all of those to me are still as important as ever, if not more important, when we come out of this. To just, I suppose, keep on your same path, and don't don't sort of be knocked off in any way in what you're doing, because it's really important. Yeah.
Thank you. So you mentioned there that you're a mum. How many kids have you got?
2.
You've got 2 kids. So how are you finding for your mental well-being, balancing children, schooling, running a business, trying to keep a team motivated? It's a lot to ask, isn't it? So how are you finding that?
Yeah, there are moments definitely where you sort of feel the pressure. I think just trying to focus on, each day at a time, what you can do in a day. I have a thing of at the end of every day, I kind of try and do what I'm grateful for, what's been the best parts of the day. I just write down, a little kind of like a grateful diary, and I get the kids to do the same. And so it's trying to, whilst recognizing that this is an unusual situation and it's hard to think that kids are at home and you're trying to educate them, it's actually just trying to take the pressure off some of those big worries, and focus on the small wins. And if they achieve something each day, and so do I, then that's great. And trying to do as much exercise as I can. The whole family are doing Joe Wicks every morning. And I try and run and get out in the fresh air. So yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so post-corona, what does the future look like for Gibson? So you've done 100 years, not you personally. You've done 100 years. What plans have you got for the future of Gibsons? What do you want to look back on your sort of tenure as managing director and say, I helped achieve that?
I guess a few things. We're growing internationally, which is great, and just in the last couple of years we've made some real strides. We have a fantastic head of international sales, and she's been out and about. We're still probably relatively early in the strategy, so I guess it would be nice in a few years' time to sort of see our brand growing even further around the world. But probably more of a personal thing, more important to me, is the way the team evolves and the culture of the company. So we've already put quite a lot in place in the last 3 or 4 years, but working on that more, and developing the people, and making Gibsons continually a great place to work, which kind of stretches out beyond even the core team, thinking about our impact on the world. And we just this year launched our new greener jigsaw puzzles with no shrink wrap, and biodegradable seals, and smaller boxes, all that kind of thing. And there's loads more we've got to do on that front. And I think it's just, now we're in a time in society where it's not just about profit, and it's about all the other things that go with it. And I think that's probably that shift. If I suppose my generation brings that to Gibsons, then that's what I'd be happy to go away with. So yeah.
Lovely, fantastic, thank you. Okay, so finally, I just want some advice or a nugget of wisdom for another family business out there that's maybe thinking, this is really hard, this is really tough, I don't know if I've got what it takes to get through this. We're a family business and my name's above the door, but I don't know how we're going to do this. Have you got any words of wisdom or comfort for them?
I think if you're thinking I can't do this, you can. I think believe in yourself. You're in that role for a reason. And I guess even if it feels like right now this isn't happening, or it feels like we can't, or this is hard, that it's a kind of, hopefully it's a now thing, and it will get better. And it's more a case of not if this ends, it's just when, and actually just seeing it through and taking each day as it comes.
Yeah. Brilliant, thank you, Kate.